late. Hey there. Welcome everybody to Astronomy Daily Live. Look at this. Look at this. We're going 3D here. Now I had these on just a minute ago and they worked out really well. But yeah, I've never actually really liked how these worked. They sort of work, but maybe it's a thing again where I'm just not really understanding what I should be seeing. I can sort of see a 3D effect with these, but like we were talking about in the pre-show, I just recently sort of learned how to do the stereoscopic thing. And I guess you cross your eyes. I am not exactly sure what my eyes are doing, but that seems to work for me much better. The only problem with that now is that when I do that, even after just a couple of minutes, I start getting like really dizzy, and I'm dizzy for like hours afterwards, and it's frustrating because I actually want to work with some stereoscopic artwork, and I can't because I can't look at the stuff I'm doing for longer than a couple of minutes. So it's just sort of a frustration. So maybe it's a thing where I'm just going to have to sort of keep doing it in short little bursts, and maybe eventually I'll sort of get used to it, or my brain will do whatever it has to do to compensate, whatever it is. And anyway, I pulled these out mainly because I've got them here, and I was just looking at the date. Look when I got these. So I've had these for a long time, and obviously they have to be cleaned off a little bit. The New Horizons group, and I just defocused. So here, let me, come on, there you go. Posted some new 3D images of the asteroid Ultima Thule, and they posted them so you could use these. They did the stereoscopic thing, so definitely go over and take a look at it. I like the stereoscopic one, two side by side. That one really pops. So yeah, I'm anxious to see more of that. It's looking really good. So cool. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Astronomy Daily Live. So hope everybody's doing well out there in the universe and the world. Everything's good here. We got a little bit of sunshine. Had fog until it must have been afternoon. It must have been around 1 p.m. or so. And then the fog lifted, and we had blue, sunny skies, melted most of the snow. Usually snow in southern Arizona lasts about 3 seconds or so, which is what I like most about it. But this one has lasted, over a day, so that's pretty good. Now there's only snow left, sort of in the shadows and the northern, parts of buildings and stuff. So it's pretty much gone. But we do have clear skies here, but the humidity is through the roof. It's just it's very un-desert-like. So yeah. Completely wild. So I'm gonna look at the chat here really quick. I think, did I pop the chat out? Yeah. Tara Lee, nice to have you in the chat. Welcome. Into the future. Hey, welcome, welcome. ERT Radio is there. Uncle Bill, cool. Um, uh, um, yes, Brian May is also stereoscopic crazy, and I've turned into a stereoscopic crazed fool as well. But like I said, I I spent about a minute looking at Ultima Thule today in 3D, and my head was spinning for about the next hour or so. So I like I said, I'm sort of hoping that if I sort of dose myself with this, right, dose myself with this a little bit um, frequently, that whatever mechanisms are going on in my head, and I think it's mechanical, right? The muscles in my eyes, I guess, just aren't used to doing that, and it's probably putting a strain on them. It's like using a muscle, that you've never used, right? I mean, it basically is that, or at least, making your muscles do things that you normally don't do, and those muscles for 50 years, right, have not done that. So yeah, they're getting a new sensation, and I think it's just messing with me. So I'm hoping with some small doses that will go away. But I want to work with this stereoscopic stuff a little bit more in terms of artwork. And although I haven't gotten any kind of notice yet, the art show that is put on at the University of Arizona, the Lunar and Planetary Lab. It's called the Art of Planetary Science. Is coming up like in another month or so. So I probably need to check that out. I'm kind of surprised that I haven't gotten any kind of notice about it. But I mean, it's not up to them, to tell me that there's an art show. I've got to go out and find out. So I need to know if that's happening, because if so, I want to maybe put some of this stereoscopic artwork into the show, because I think that'd be really, really interesting, and nobody's doing that. There were over 200 pieces last year, and there was nothing like that at all. So I think it'd be smashing. I think it'd be really, really, really good. And yeah, I'm thinking about the other kinds of viewers and stuff too. So yeah, yeah, I don't know. All right, well, cool. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to welcome Bobby on the panel. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, nothing much. Can't wait for the meteor shower.
Is it clear where you are?
No, but I'm a little bit excited about what station I can catch on the scanner.
Oh, okay. I got you. Did you see the link that I posted over
Yes,
on Discord?
I did. Yes, I did. I think that's pretty darn awesome.
Isn't that
and
cool?
I thought that, yeah, that was pretty darn cool.
Yeah. Now, that I was listening to for probably about an hour this morning or so, right after I posted it. It's like, okay, I'm going to listen to this, and for sure, right, there were meteors in there, right? There's those short little blips, that just sort of go bing. And sometimes you can hear a Doppler shift and everything. So there's other signals there too that is being picked up because of whatever, right? And those tend to be really loud and really long and everything else, and multi frequency, right? But the meteors, which they were pinging pretty frequently this morning, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was very, very cool. So what else are you going to do?
Okay, so I was looking at my new Stellarium app, and I was looking at the where when the Ursa Major will rise. And I'm looking at when the Radiant is going to rise. And it looks like you're pretty much for right. It's probably going to be like about maybe like around 2 o'clock when the Radiant is going to show up. 2 o'clock local here.
Cool, cool. Well, the peak though, right, is predicted to be at 2:30 UTC, which is in like 19 minutes. So you sort of have to balance those two things. The radiant isn't going to be there, but don't let that stop you. I mean, when it's clear, go out and look. It doesn't really matter what time it is, because you'll see some for sure, and they'll all sort of seem to be coming from a single point, but they may be way down over there, right? Going, boom. But if you follow that line back, it'll go to the radiant, right? So these things, they can appear, you know, you know, way over the sky, right? All over the place. So they're not going to be necessarily starting at the radiant and going out, right? You'll see a little bit of a streak here, a little bit of a streak here, a little bit of a streak here, but they're all going to point to almost exactly the same spot in the sky. And that spot, doesn't have to be up, right? Now it's better that way, but not necessarily really required. Not really.
So what you're saying is you don't need a radiant, but you want to do it at the peak, right?
Well, you want to, I guess, try to balance those two things, right? Because you're depending on where you are on the planet, the predicted peak and the position of the radiant aren't going to coincide, right? Now, someplace on the planet, right, it will. But I think in at least North America here, it definitely isn't, right? But that's okay. And last night we went over to the IMO site on the International Meteor organization. Is that what it was called? I think. And why don't we take a look at that? But before we do that, I just want to make sure to say hi to Tom, who's also on the panel. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Cosmic. Hi, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. Not too much going on here tonight.
You got some clear skies there. You're going to go out and look?
We do. I think it'll be clear, so I'll probably go out after this and see what can be seen tonight. It's the first time in a few days. It hasn't been rainy.
Woohoo! Nice. Yeah, like I said, it's clear here too, but humid, just incredibly humid. So, no telescope at all. I mean, as soon as I put that thing outside, it's just gonna, completely frost up. So there's no point. But yeah, I'll definitely probably get out and take a look too. So yeah, let's go back over to that site. I'm going to share my screen here. And
before you continue,
yes.
So is it better at the peak or better at the radiant or somewhere in between?
I would say try to get the best of both worlds, right? So I think it's probably best to try to see this at the peak, right? Or at least at the predicted peak, which is in a
Okay.
matter of 14 minutes. So
Okay. So I'm guessing like after this, I'm gonna see about if I can catch them scatter.
yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Cosmic, for letting me know. I thought I was going to be at the radio, but if you said try at the peak, I'll do it at the peak.
I think any time tonight is just fine. So yeah. Let's see, the quantities. There we go, 2019. Let's see if there's any data now. Hopefully
And
there
thank you, Uncle
is.
Bill. I'll definitely will do that.
Yeah. Okay, well, so there's a little bit of data, but just a couple of data points here. Big, fat data points. Some observations on the 31st and some observations on the 3rd. So at least this organization, they haven't had a lot of reporting. 6 observers, a total of 7 different sessions, but yeah, I'm not quite sure why we're not seeing more data here, because I mean, I'm seeing like 2 data points. So, not quite sure exactly what is going on there, but it looks like, you know, right now the hourly rate is really, really low. So, but that was as of yesterday, right? Actually, 24 hours ago. So you know, lots can happen in 24 hours, and you know, the prediction for the peak is just that, right? It's a prediction. Nobody really knows, because nobody has a good map of, you know, this trail of dust that we're moving through. So you know, that time could be, you know, hours off. So so yeah, I would say, you know, go out anytime tonight, maybe even tomorrow night, and take a look and see what's going on there. So, all right, well, cool. Let me stop sharing that, and I'm gonna
while
check.
I'm at YouTube on my Roku, you want to check and see if P and K's got it or no, or keep it on Bill?
I think you should do whatever you think is best. So it looked like Bill was having some clouds over there. So you may not see anything, but you know, if anybody else is live streaming, there probably are a few. Yeah, I don't know.
Let me see if P and K's up on it.
Okay, cool. Well, while you're doing that, I've so I sort of had an interesting phone call today. Just sort of, you know, I don't get a lot of phone calls, so you know, phone calls that come in are usually pretty interesting. Well, this one was quite interesting. It was a lady who was calling on behalf of a friend, and this friend of hers, she's now in hospice care. She has lung cancer and is terminal. But this lady's friend who called me, and actually, let me back up a little bit, give you a little bit of history here, because it's sort of an interesting story, I guess. So back in, I think it was 2008. 2008. I had just left my uh, uh, my current job. And this job was sort of a disaster job. It had a lot of promise, but I sort of learned about 2 years into it or so that it was a project that was going absolutely nowhere at all. The plan was to set up a large number of robotic telescopes set up around the planet to I'm going to turn this music down a little bit. There we go.
And I'm going to suggest it as well. Being early and getting up at 1 o'clock in the morning, good idea.
Yeah, I think that's a good time to do that. So the goal was to set up a bunch of these robotic telescopes around the planet to detect and characterize orbital debris. So space junk out to geosynchronous orbit, and at geosynchronous orbit, the plan was to determine the positions of I think 10-centimeter objects to within about a meter or so, and we pretty much accomplished that, at least on paper. And it was a very exciting project. I mean, I was really excited to be part of this. But about 2 years into it, when things just sort of weren't happening, right? I mean, there was almost no progress made at all. We sort of deployed one system at one place, that we could sort of have our hands on, and we did deploy another system, actually 2 other systems, but it was moving really, really slowly, and it was actually management that was slowing us down. I and several others in the group, were extremely gung-ho. It's like, this is very, very cool. Let's, do this, right? Well, it turns out, and like I said, about 2 years into it or so, I learned that there were actually no plans to actually do this at all, and it was just all a pork barrel project, right? It was just to stuff the pockets full of management, and that. So that was a real bummer. That was really, really a bummer, and it actually pushed me away from astronomy. Almost, right? I mean, that was about as
shining a light over the clouds help the sky observers a lot more, or does it not work? I saw one of Bill's helpers, or Bill himself, shine the light throughout the clouds and stuff. I wonder if that's going to help or not.
Not at all. Zero. Maybe was he using a flashlight, or was he using a laser pointer?
Like a flashlight.
Okay, because I've got this kind of thing, right? It's a green laser that you can use, to point to things up in the sky. But as far as I know, Bobby, I'm shining a flashlight up in the clouds. no, one, those clouds are pretty far away, at least a few thousand feet, if not even more. And yeah, I don't think that's going to do anything. So I'm not exactly sure what he's doing there. So yeah, that really almost pushed me away from astronomy. I was really bummed out at that because it was a really exciting project, had a lot of potential, and to learn that they got this huge contract, basically just to stuff their pockets, was like, oy vey, right? So I quit, right? I quit, and I actually quit on 7/7/7. So July 7th of 07, I actually sent in my resignation paper. That was planned, of course. And soon after that, right in my little town here that I'm next to, there's a little like a hardware store, right? And so, you know what? That's a nice, quiet job, right? Don't have to do much, don't have to think much. I can go there, I can be quiet, and I can just sort of chill, right? Completely chill. And so for probably a good 2 or 3 years or so, the astronomy thing was just, it was there, but it was very much in the background because I was just bummed out, right? I wasn't burned out, I was bummed out. I don't think astronomy could ever burn me out. I don't think that's possible. But I was extremely disillusioned, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna, go somewhere nice and quiet, calm. There's not a lot of expectations there. Easy job. Got to have a job too because I got to pay the bills, right? But during that time, of course, there's a lot of customers, that come in and out and all that. And I didn't advertise, that I was an astronomer, that kind of thing. But, if customers, would mention, the moon or the sun or the stars or anything, I would mention things like that too. I talked to him about it and all that. And I guess there was this one customer lady that I made some kind of impression on, and it was this lady who is now in the hospice, who remembered me. Now, I haven't been at the hardware store in like 3.5 or 4 years now, right? So it's been a while. And she's sort of on her way out, right? So she's trying to settle everything up, right? They're trying to, sell the house and the car, get rid of, spread everything out, right? Well, somehow she remembered me, and she has, I'm not exactly sure what it is exactly, but she has a Celestron telescope that she's going to give me. So yeah, that was kind of a nice call. Her friend called. This friend is doing all the legwork in terms of dispersing things and you're getting everything settled and all that kind of stuff. And so, got off the phone with her and immediately called this lady, and it's like, wow, that is very, very cool. Like I said, I have absolutely no idea what this scope is. She did mention that it is a Celestron telescope. So, it's probably a C5. It's probably not a C8 or a C10 or anything like that. I don't think that this lady, would spend that much. But she's got a scope. It's a Celestron scope. Not bad, not bad. So yeah, I'm gonna make arrangements to pick that up. There's no real timeline or anything on that, but I would expect in the next week or two or something like that to grab that. This lady who is giving me the scope said something about some kind of missing part on the top. So I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure what that is, because I have no idea what kind of scope this is. But hopefully it'll be usable, and I've got to kind of think about exactly what to do with it. But it sort of depends on what it is and what comes with it. And all that. I have no idea if she has a camera. I don't have a clue at all. But yeah, I thought that was pretty amazing. That she remembered me being an astronomer and thinking about me. During what is likely sort of a rough time. I guess it doesn't have to be a rough time, but it usually is. She's pretty sick and all that. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. By the way, the thing that really launched me back into astronomy was the comet Lovejoy of 2011 that zipped around the sun. And I wanted to show you that because this is the thing. When I saw this, I'm like, that reminded me what I was just, why I'm just so incredibly crazy about this stuff. So
I'd like to welcome Andy Cowley in the chat.
Hey there, Andy Cowley. Hope everything is well with ya. Everything is good here too. So yeah, let me pull that up. Here it is. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again, and then I want to finish the rest of the January events because we only got through about half of those yesterday. All right, so I'm going to share this. I'm going to hide that. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so here it is. And if you haven't seen this, I definitely highly recommend that you do. So this happened in December of 2011, and they actually made some little movies here. I'll try to zoom up a little bit, see if we can get this in here like that. So this is Comet Lovejoy, and as you can see, it was seen with SOHO. Here's the wide field one, and here's the narrow field one, and this is the shot right here that put me right back into astronomy. It's like, wow. And it actually made it all the way around, right? You can watch it here, right? Here it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. Big long tail, right? It's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. and then whips around, and watch, it comes out and zooms back out. Is that cool or what? And it left this long tail here for a long time, incredibly long time. So there it goes again. So yeah, when I saw this, I'm like, okay, I remember why astronomy is so incredibly cool. So yeah, that fixed me right up. That was the pill I needed to I'd sort of put astronomy on the shelf. Wasn't quite sure if I was going to get back to it or not. I figured I probably would, but this definitely got me back into it for sure. This view, which was just a spectacular event. It happened over the course of a couple days. But yeah, it actually survived. Don't know. I don't think I did any kind of follow-up or anything to see if this particular Lovejoy. There's a lot of comet Lovejoys. He has discovered a number of comets, and most comets are named after the discoverer. So in this case, it was a Lovejoy, which I really greatly appreciate that name. That name, right, is precisely what I needed at that point, right? Love and joy. So I thought that was really great. So you can see the ion tail here. You can actually see it better in the blue one as it comes. See, there's a little bit of a tail there, and then so there's two tails, right? There's an ion tail, which is that one there, and then there's a dust tail there, right? So two tails to these things. So yeah, very cool. The interesting thing that I don't know if anybody has come up with a reasonable explanation or not, but when it gets really close, and I think most comets do this, when they get really close like this, they actually lose their, I think they lose their tails, and then regain them as they come back out. So what's going on in there, to make them lose their tail? I'm not sure. Not exactly sure. But yeah, so that was a great event, and like I said, that sort of really got me back into astronomy. It's like being 13 again, and watching this and cheering, and it's like, woohoo! Wow, big long streak there that lasted for quite a while. Hours and hours and hours after it passed through. So yeah, very cool. All right, enough of the reminiscing. Onward. Let's see what's going on the rest of this month. And I'm going to turn this music down again because it's getting a little bit loud. Again.
Sounds okay to me.
Okay. Well, it's just getting a little loud here. So if it's loud here, it's probably loud out there too. So all right, cool. Let's see. Just want to mention too, really quick, that the software that I've been writing to do my photometric analysis and all that for my telescope project, I've been looking at the data really hard, and I found some funny things in the data that I wasn't quite able to explain. And I was looking at the code, and this afternoon I actually found a bug in the code. That, well, I haven't, rerun it yet, to see how it's changing any of the results. Maybe the results are worse. I don't know. Probably not, though. But yeah, I definitely found a bug in the code. Not quite sure exactly why I did what I did, but it was just wrong. It was just wrong. So I've made that correction. I'm going to rerun, my data again. Hopefully, the quality of the data is either going to stay exactly the same or get better. We will see. I'm still seeing some other stuff in the data that I'm not exactly sure why I'm seeing what I'm seeing, but I actually want to show you this maybe tomorrow, because I actually want to on the fly write some code that'll do a what's called a linear least squares fit to the data. We're going to fit a straight line to this data that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to write the code live. So I think that'll be fun. It's really easy code, so it's not going to take all that long. But I'll show you the math, and I'll show you how to translate the math into programming code, and we'll run it on this data, and we'll see what we get in terms of a linear fit. So I think that'll be a little bit interesting. So all right, let's get back into what's happening.
And before you continue, I just want to recommend you guys a little app that you get on Android. It's Stellarium Mobile. And did you not know that the guys behind the Stellarium actually made an Android app?
I had absolutely no idea. So how does it work? Does it work pretty well?
It works it works very, very good, and it's worth the $2.50.
$2.50?
Yep, and it's available on Android. Not sure on iOS though.
I can't afford $2. That's just too much. I can't afford that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to look at that. Maybe I'll. I don't know if I'm gonna need it on my smartphone, but I'll think about it a little bit.
I got it on my Chromebook, and I got it on my phone as well.
Cool. And you like it, right?
It's very, very cool.
Wow. Okay. Well, maybe if you want, once you're maybe comfortable with it, definitely, think about doing like a show and tell here or something, because I'd like to see it too.
Okay.
Yeah. So get comfortable with it, and when you want to, let's take a look at it. Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Let's go back to the 12th. So of course, all these dates and times are at universal time, right? So when it says, Mercury is at aphelion at 8 hours, that's of course 8 hours UTC. So depending on where you are on the planet, you have to make the corrections, right? For me here in southeastern Arizona, I'm 7 hours behind UTC. So I've got to take that time there and subtract 7. So that would be 1 hour local time, 1 a.m. Local time. But that's happening on the 12th. So Mercury is going to be at its closest point to the sun this time around on the 12th. Let's see. Yeah, I think we covered this yesterday. Let's see. First quarter moon is on the 14th. So yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. On the 15th, Mars is going through its ascending node through the ecliptic plane. So not the equatorial plane, the ecliptic plane. So that's a different line in the sky, but it's heading north, right? Venus next to Antares. Okay, that's not incredibly exciting. Moon is next to the Pleiades. Okay, so the middle of the eclipse season, right? Which means the sun and moon are basically in the same place, right? That takes place at 8 o'clock UTC. Hey, Bobby, I am hearing that a little tiny bit.
Okay. Let me see if I can find a remote.
Okay. It's not incredibly annoying, but it's there. So, let's see, just different things here. Uranus is at its eastern quadrature at 1 hour UTC. So as we see it, it's 90 degrees from the sun. Kind of cool. Sun enters Capricornus at 2 hours UTC on the 20th. Yay. That's always nice to know. The sun continues to move through the sky. It's always a comforting thought. So the moon crosses the celestial equator, heading north, also on the 20th at 22:48. Partial lunar eclipse, we talked about that. That's going to be happening on the 21st, early on the 21st, though, right? So it starts, at least according to this, at 3:34. Definitely check out the NASA site too. One of the things that is, that can be done, almost by anybody. It's a little bit harder, I guess, with lunar eclipses, but do your own timing, right? See if the lunar eclipse does actually start at that time, and greatest eclipse, is it actually at that time? How far are they off? These things aren't perfect. They aren't exact. I think they're probably really, really, really close, but who knows, right? There's little wiggles and wobbles, and I would think, right? I would think that getting to the resolution of minutes or seconds, you're probably definitely going to see a difference, right? Because we live in these time zones, right, where these relatively large chunks of longitude have their clock set to exactly the same time, where in truth, right, every little change in longitude is a slightly different change in time. So for instance, the actual time in Yuma, right, is different than my time here. Now, we've all agreed, to set our clocks to exactly the same time. But according to the sky, our time is different, right? So I think on the scale of minutes or seconds, we definitely, these timings for these events are probably going to be slightly different, depending on where you are. Definitely in longitude, probably also in latitude, right? Because your angle is slightly different, right? So when things occur is going to be slightly different. And I think at the resolution of seconds, that's probably true. I don't know if it's true, for resolutions, of minutes. But that is one thing, that can be relatively easily done. Get yourself a shortwave, tune it to WWV, and do some timings of these events. That's kind of an interesting thing, and I would think that the reporting of that kind of data to somebody, and if you're interested, I can probably find out, the international occultation and timing association, IOTA. They might be interested in those kinds of things. Not exactly sure, but it's a way, to sort of, participate with the event a little bit more, other than just watching it, which, that's probably, what I'm going to do. That's the extent I'm going to do it, is just watch it, because I just like watching these things. All right, let's see. So that's happening on the 21st. We covered that yesterday to a certain extent. So Venus and Jupiter are getting relatively close to one another towards the end of the month. Of course, they're up in the morning sky. So definitely take a look at that. But this actual event, when they're that close, of course, takes place at a particular time. In this case, 16 hours UTC on the 22nd. So the moon is going by Regulus and Spica on the 23rd and 26th. Oh yeah, and I looked up libration. That actually is the wobbly motion of the moon, right? Of the moon. So as viewed from Earth. So I think that's I'm pretty sure that motion is primarily the motion of the moon itself, and not the motion of the Earth. Although the Earth does contribute to that just a little bit, but libration is a pretty cool thing. The moon with time tends to do this really funky wobble thing. Just Google that, and you'll see you'll be able to find a little graphic movie showing that. It's very cool, very cool. So let's see. On the 30th, Mercury's at superior conjunction with the Sun. So two of the planets go through two different kinds of conjunctions. There's superior conjunction, and then there's the inferior conjunction. Inferior is when the planet is between the Sun and Earth, and superior is when the planet is on the opposite side of the Sun, right? So of course it's called a conjunction because it's sort of lined up with the Sun. Not exactly, of course. If it lines up exactly, then you can have a transit, right? And that's actually going to be happening. Mercury is going to be transiting the sun sometime in November of this year. So that'll be an exciting event as well. And I think, you know, I don't know if I've looked into it enough to know if we here in North America are going to be able to see that. I'm not exactly sure who's going to be able to see that yet. That's an event that I think lasts at least a few hours. So not the entire planet is going to be able to see that. More than half the planet will be able to see it, but not the entire one. You know, there are going to be portions of the planet where, you know, planet Earth is just going to be in the way, right? And the sun's not going to be up. So I'm not going to be able to see it. But yeah, we should, I don't, well, you know, that's going to be happening November. So got a little bit of time for that. But so, yeah, in this case, it's at superior conjunction, which means it's on the other side of the sun, right? So it goes Earth, Sun, Mercury. And it looks like it's going to be, if I read this right, Mercury is going to be below the sun by almost 7 degrees. I think I'm reading that right. So let's see, and then okay, cool. So so the moon is actually going to pass in front of Venus on the 31st. Western South America, Polynesia. So yeah, let's see, that's at 18 hours UTC. Yeah, at least here, I'm definitely not going to see that. That's what, like 11 o'clock in the morning. So it's going to be, well, you know what? Yeah, I'd be able to see it. However, you know, latitude in this case does matter. So yeah, we'd have to look at the geometry of that. I wonder if we can do a quick search there, because I'm kind of curious. Moon, Venus occultation, January 2019. Let's see if there's anything. Occultations of planets by the moon. Let's see. There it is. Let's see what that shows us. Ah, okay. Yeah, this definitely is not in North America's favor. Yeah, here's sort of where you have to be in order to see that, right? So, yep, like it said, you know, Western South America. You know, if you happen to be on a boat out there, but yeah, it doesn't look like many people are gonna see this. It's not going over much land. That's mostly a water thing. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. But let's sort of see when this is happening. It sort of looks like around 19 hours UTC, something like that. So, all right, well, we're going to miss it. But, you know, those of you in South America, but I don't know my geography too well. Ecuador is down here, Peru, Colombia, yeah, not too many people are going to see that, right? I'm not exactly sure which one is the beginning and which one is the end. But yeah, not not going to be too visible by too many people, at least. So yeah, the whales and the dolphins, this is for them. So, and of course it's up during the middle of the day, so that makes it even harder. And by then, right, what's the phase of the moon? Let's see. We can go back here. What is the phase of the moon? It's okay. So full moon is on the 21st. So by the 31st, that's 10 days later. So yeah, you're talking a what is that? A waning crescent. Is that how to pronounce that? So yeah, it's going to be relatively close to the sun, right in the middle of the day. So yeah, kind of hard to see. You definitely would need a telescope in order to see that, and a boat. so yeah, I would recommend skipping this one. Seeing occultations of the moon, or of planets and stars by the moon, is very, very cool, and it happens relatively often. So we'll keep our eyes open. The fact that the moon goes really, really close to the Pleiades and the Hyades, and the Beehive and all that. There's a lot of opportunities to actually see one of the occultations of a bright star, that you can just sort of go out and watch. Binoculars help a little bit more, telescopes help a little bit more, but with a brighter star, you can actually see this happen. Just go out and watch it, right? So very cool, very cool. It's it's always very, very busy in the sky. Most people don't realize how incredibly active the universe is, until you start to dig just a little tiny bit, right? This is just this list here, right, is really just sort of skimming the surface too. And tools like Stellarium can really help you predict and know when things are going to happen for your location, right? You can punch in your latitude and longitude and altitude, and watch the moon over the course of a month and see if it passes in front of any bright star, right, or planet, right? And that kind of information is known well enough that the timings of all that and where it's going to be in the sky and everything is probably really, really close. So definitely check that out. And yeah, there's just so much going on all the time. It's extremely overwhelming. Well, it can be, but that is one of the cool things about science, is that you can take a big bite if you want, right? Or you can take little bites, right? And you'll be satisfied with all of that. So don't be overwhelmed, because it's I suppose it can be, but don't be overwhelmed by all these things and all the big numbers and all that. Yeah, take it in small bites and you know, it definitely goes down a lot easier that way. So all right, well, cool. I think, unless anybody else has anything else to bring up,
me.
I'm gonna pull out the chat here really quick. If nobody has anything else, I think it's time to get on out of here. How about you, Tom? Anything?
No, nothing much tonight.
I think SpaceX erected a rocket that has their manned capsule on it. Is that what I heard?
I haven't read that yet. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I saw some kind of news item about that. I guess they're putting it on a Falcon 9, and you know, they're starting, you know, tests and stuff. I think it's going to be still a few more weeks or something like that. So yeah, I really didn't read anything past sort of the headlines on that.
That was their plan, was to do an unmanned test early this year and see how that goes.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, you know, for sure, it'll be nice to have, you know, more choice when it comes to, you know, getting people back up into space. You know, right now we have one choice, and you know, at least we have one choice. But it's nice to have two choices, and it's nice to have three choices, and it's nice to have, you know, 10 choices. So that is very cool. I think we definitely got confirmation that the Chinese did land on the far side. They actually deployed their rover, sent back some pictures. I've seen some pictures. So very cool. Very cool. I guess, you know, there is a little bit of collaboration there. The Europeans have some instruments on that. I think they've got a telescope on it. I'm not exactly sure what the details are, but it's very cool. You know, that has never been done before. Landing, well, you know, at least as far as we know. Landing on the far side of the moon. So, you know, that takes a relay satellite. But, you know, the timing is really good. You know, they sort of landed in a spot that's going to have 2 weeks of daylight. So very cool. I hope that they are able to share lots and lots of pictures and data. It's nice to have a rover up there again too. Like I said, I think one of the instruments is a telescope. I forget what size, but yeah, I think putting a telescope on the moon is you know, definitely something that, you know, we should be doing. And I'd like to have a radio telescope put on the far side, you know, just to see, you know, how quiet is that sky, right? What's the noise floor when there's no Earth there, you know, garbling up the, you know, the noise floor. So yeah. So hopefully, you know, the years to come, that will occur. All right, everyone, I think I'm going to get out of here for now. So have a great evening, a great day. Definitely, if it's clear, go out, take a look at a couple of meteors. You know, what I find best is to, you know, get yourself laying out flat, right? You know, so get like one of those lounge chairs that you can lean back and just look straight up. Right, because then you'll have a pretty decent field of view, right? I mean, you won't be able to see the entire sky, but, you know, looking at the zenith, right, you'll sort of be able to see, well, maximize, right, your field of view. You know, I forget exactly what the quantritids look like. So I don't know if they're fast or slow, if they have any color or tails or anything. I've seen them before, but yeah, I don't remember. And all the meteor showers are different. You know, they all have, you know, slightly different characteristics. So when you're observing these things, you know, notice, you know, how fast they travel, and if you can see any color, and if you can see any tail, right? And notice, you know, what direction, you know, they're coming from, right? Like I said, you know, meteors that are associated with this shower are all going to, you know, seem to come from one point, right? So, you know, if they're all going like this, and during your observations you see one do that, right? Well, that's a meteor that's not part of the shower, right? It's part of another one, or, you know, it's just a stray piece of dust out there, you know, that just so happened to be, you know, at the right place or the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, most likely, you know, you'll see many meteors, you know, that that are going to be part of this shower, but you'll probably see one or two that aren't, right? You know, they're just random pieces of dust up there that, like I said, you know, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, but yeah, and, you know, keep a track of you know, count them if you want. You know, you can have, you know, the WWV out there to notice what time it took place. You can really get really detailed. In fact, there are these cameras, you know, that can see the entire sky, right? You know, they have like a fisheye lens, and they can watch the entire sky at the same time, and that's a great way to watch these things too. And I guess, you know, there's going to be some live streams on YouTube, you know, so you can do a search for that, and you can sit here at the comfort of your own, you know, warm home and watch a meteor shower that way too. It's you know, this is astronomy. There are so many ways of being involved. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna get out of here. Have a great evening, a great day. If you're new, make sure to subscribe. Hit the little bell thing for notifications. I've noticed that the notifications seem to be working now. In the past couple of weeks or so, I've been getting lots of notifications on channels that I watch that you know, that I wasn't getting. So that is very, very cool. So hit the thumbs up if you like, and share this around. You know, I'm just here sharing a passion. I'm not necessarily here, you know, to communicate science or teach anything. Those things will just happen. So I'm not even worried about that at all. I'm just here sharing a passion because I love astronomy. I always have. I probably always will. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here. Take care, everybody. I will see you in a little less than 23 hours from now. Just one little old spin of this little tiny planet of ours. All right, take care, everybody. Peace, cheers, and all that. I will see you later. Bye.
Later.